High Level is a full CRM and marketing platform, and I've used some of the best in the SaaS industry. And we are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. It's Revening's Wednesday. Welcome to Wednesday, Revenue Party people. We are back after a week off. Yes, I was in Florida last week relaxing and it was amazing. Thank you for your patience, but we still had a lot of tea spilt in the newsletter. Make sure that you are opting into our newsletter at reveting.com/newsletter. And every Wednesday, we're letting you know what guests we have coming up. So we did a whole thing about today's guests and also a recap of last week's guests talking about the Women Wave community, the Wednesday Winners community. And of course, all these recordings you can find every week on your favorite podcast app as well. Thank you to Cherry Assistant and all of their help. I'm able to have a podcast. So Layla has been helping me keep that up to date. But also last week when I went to Florida, we had clients going live and having podcasts. And I was able to do all of it thanks to being able to delegate with Cherry Assistant. So if you're looking for a virtual assistant, you're going to see more about them in the middle of the show. I'm going to show you a video that they put together of one of their other clients, actually. But I work with them. And because of them, I've been able to scale an agency working with talent in South Africa, as well as the Philippines. So you can do the same thing. You just go to Cherry Assistant, you let them know the type of skill you're looking for, and they can help you find that talent and like the time that you need that person, as well as the languages that you need. What's up, Mark? I just saw Mark in Florida on the beach. That was amazing, Mark. After 2.5 years of coming to the show, it was so great to meet in real life. But keep us honest today, Mark, and let us know some good questions because we have some great guests. I want to get right into it. But you guys know me. I can talk about Cherry Assistant all day, as well as High Level. So excited to be migrating a B2B company off of two of the big SaaS players, like companies that you pay like $30,000 a year for. You know them. I'm not going to mention any names, but they're going to app.reveting.com, which is High Level white labeled. So I want to help you become a High Level affiliate or a SaaS partner and get it white labeled as well. You can come into my coaching program, but basically it's a CRM and marketing automation platform. And I can have my team get in there and set people up. So we're migrating over their data. We're creating the new modern landing pages. We're using AI. No more of that old school big SaaS. Gone are those days. So peace out and hello to High Level. Check out the free trial. If you're listening to this on podcast, you can just go to reveting.com/high level, get 30 days free with my affiliate link to try it out yourself. But I want to make sure we get right into the juicy topics today. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in our guests. Welcome to the show, Justin and Robert.
Hello there.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, everybody on LinkedIn and Twitch and all the other platforms.
Yes, we are out there. We are live. So please engage the audience, and audience, engage us. We want to know that you're here because this is a live show and that's what makes it fun. But it's still fun when you listen to it later on podcast because we get into the hot, juicy topics, including who the heck you are. So we want to know not just like the regular LinkedIn stuff, but in good old-fashioned Wednesday style, I put a 2-minute clock up and ask you to tell us your full life story from birth to what brought you to now. Could you please kick us off, Justin?
Sure. So I'm from St. George, Utah, and interesting from birth, this story kind of pops into mind. It's the desert, and there was a big snowstorm here when I was born on the day of my birth. Closed down all the schools, 2 feet of snow in the desert. It was crazy. So that was more years ago than I wish it was, but it's been a while. Then had a great life, grew up with a lot of siblings and a great family. Got into sales, got married. With my job in sales, there was a lot of drug abuse and different things in those environments. And I was kind of fell victim to participating in some of that. I got in some trouble, cleaned my act up. And as I learned through some of these experiences of how to go through moments like that and then get the tools and skills to learn about my own psychology and redirect some of the efforts that I had to put into bad, destructive habits, I was able to start my first business, successful business after that, and did very well, scaled that up to over 9 figures of revenue, was able to exit that, went through some litigation with some old partners in some of those endeavors, and then took several years off, lived in the woods of New England for a while. And now my kids are older and they're wanting less and less time with me. So I'm now back in business and working with a number of businesses to do bookkeeping, accounting, just general growth and strategy coaching. And yeah, I guess that's gets us to today.
The important stuff that sometimes myself as a creative marketer put on the back burner, maybe a little too much. I don't know if you can relate, Robert, but it's great to have, the streamlined professionals like you around, Justin. So thank you for being here. And Robert would love to hear from you as well and your full life story. And what can we not find out about you on LinkedIn?
Yeah, this is I think the most challenging question I've ever been asked and had to answer, right? Talk about compacting. But born in Philadelphia, was always a Philadelphia sports fan, struggling Philadelphia sports fan, if you're listening from Philly. Went to business school, then had this just desire to experience the international world. Lived in Japan for 4 years, had an amazing experience, got to travel Asia a lot. And while I was there, I play hockey. So I played hockey when I was there. I played hockey growing up. And when I was there and got exposure to some of the things that the NHL was doing or not doing there, and came back, did some informational interviews and got into licensing, like product merchandising and licensing. And that was my first job in New York City when I came back from Japan. Did that for a number of years and then got into the internet when the whole Silicon Alley, Silicon Valley days, when the internet exploding. And it was so much fun to be here in the city at that time, because like everybody and their cousin and their brother was here, like with an idea on making money on the internet. It was crazy. But I worked for a mid-sized development shop in that we did like front end and back end and databases and email marketing systems. Like people were paying hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars for this stuff today. That is probably everything in Go High Level that you get for what, 100 and 200 bucks a month,
$97. Right? Yep.
Yeah, like because nothing was built before. So I sunk my teeth into that, and that's how I got into digital marketing. Worked at a SaaS CRM company before SaaS was even a word. Was doing email marketing before, before the Canned Spam Act, when it was just really just spam. Got into SEO, and then the last job that I had, I left that and was kind of like bopping around for a little bit, and then got into video, which is what I've been doing now with a former colleague. And I'm not a video guy, so I didn't go to school for video. I didn't go to, I kind of still don't have any technical skills with video, but I have built a company, been doing it for 15 years. We've been very successful. We've got 1,600 videos done in that time, and great clients. We have a great team of people, and that they make me better. Yeah, because they're the technical skills, but I set the creative direction and the production and the sales strategies. And I really think that we've differentiated ourselves in the market by not being a video production company and really focusing on the business objectives and how content plays a role in every single sales and marketing objective out there. So I still play hockey. I've got 2 kids that are in college. Dog, I live here in New York City. Love to hike.
I think you got yoga. It all.
You know, what else
Yoga?
do you want to know?
Oh, I'm all about yoga on TikTok. But speaking of TikTok, TikTok is apparently still, the ban is looming, by the way. And there was a LinkedIn news article about it yesterday. I made a post about it, and LinkedIn News featured it. I was like, yes, score. But all I was really saying was, man, this is wild that it's like freedom. Like, we're one of those countries now where we just have to worry about apps disappearing. I mean, I don't know what your takes on it, and I'm not trying to go political, but if you're in the comments and you're listening, go check out my post, and I'd like to know your thoughts on the looming TikTok ban. But we have some really hot topics to get into regarding video, which of course TikTok is all video. I'm over there. I'm an affiliate market over there. I'm selling this dress over there. You can buy this dress over there. I digress. But videos, the why, the strategy, the impact. It's more than just a video. I'd love to hear more about, you said 16,000 videos you all have made. I'm imagining some really professional high-end videos, but talk to us about video, the why, the strategy, the impact, and maybe even a little bit about what you all are doing too.
If I said 16,000, I meant 1,600.
Oh, okay. I'm
Hopefully,
sorry.
hopefully I said 1,600.
Maybe you said 1,600. I'm
Okay. So yeah, I mean the why. Let's start with the why. I mean, you mentioned TikTok, but as most of the people on here are probably in the B2B world, like TikTok is not probably where you want to be. And if it is, that means you've probably spent time and effort developing a following there. So again, let's think about the why. Video gives the most amount of information in the shortest amount of time. People are more inclined to watch video for that reason. We've become a nation of watchers first because of our personal lives that is now translating into our business lives. And from a company standpoint, there's no better way to showcase your people, the skill sets, to explain things than video, right? I mean, paper websites just don't do that. So those are like some of the reasons. And some of the business reasons is that video lasts a long time. A lot of video that you will probably create is sales and marketing related or content marketing. So it's evergreen content that can be used over and over again in multiple channels. And on the internet, especially when it's like search related content or social related content, if it's good, it's going to get more valuable over time and help support your digital aspects. So I mean, so that's some of the reasons as to why. And when you talk about the strategy, I mean, that's like another webinar. So we're kind of doing like really, really high level here. But we have a saying is when you first start thinking about video, the first thing to do is to forget about video. Are you launching a new product? Are you implementing Go High Level with an email sequencing campaign? Are you recruiting? Are you going after brand awareness? So those are like 4 different types of projects that marketers will create very, very different types of content for. And now you plug in video, you need to have the right video content, which means executing the right video project for that area. And I'll give you a for example, with the advertising for brand awareness, you'll probably create 1 or 2 videos and that are short, very, very high end, and then pay for placement on YouTube or TV or OTT, wherever that might be. Whereas if it's a email nurturing campaign or SEO, you need lots of content there. So the goal of that video project would be to create many videos. You go in for a day, you're going to create 5 or 10 videos versus just that one high-end video.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, if we could make that one high-end video every day, then would it be special? Also, I would argue too, sometimes the high-end videos, they just blend in because it looks like an ad a lot of the times, being like super polished and highly branded.
Mm-hmm.
Do you run into that at all, or do you see that with some of the like higher produced films?
Well, I mean, if it needs to be, if it's going to be on TV, or if you're going to have an ad spend behind that, it should be polished, and it should, hit the messaging. However, if it's a thought leadership video of a software company talking about how their software fits into a specific use case, or a lawyer or an accountant talking about a new law and the potential impacts of that law, does it need to be super polished? I mean, I just kind of like stumbled on a word right now. So we want those videos not to be super polished. And if that professional stumbles a little bit, that's great. But they keep on continuing through what they know, and thus the message gets through. So again, it's about the varied types of content that marketers and sales teams create and use all the time, and having that methodology with video content. So every video production project is going to output a different set of deliverables, number of deliverables, and then quality of deliverables.
Mm. Oh, that's great. And I'm curious, Justin, have you thought about video to this degree at all?
Yeah, to some extent. I was going to ask Robert a follow up. You mentioned forget about video. Did you mean? Yeah, could you tell me what you mean by that a little bit?
Because when people think video, they say, okay, well, what do I want to see, right? And they're not really sure where to get started, right? So what you want to do is from the strategic standpoint, align video and make sure that video follows your business objectives. So if you're launching a new product, right, your organization has spent a lot of time, money, and effort in creating it, packaging it, creating the marketing materials. Don't go make a corporate overview video. Okay. Right? Which doesn't resonate with the business objectives that you have. You want video to push that business objective.
So by forget about it, you're saying just be more natural and capture it, as opposed to
meaning follow your business objectives. Okay. It's not about the video, it's about the business objectives, and then have video to complement and support those business objectives. I mean, I don't know why when the word video comes up, people just get crazy, or when they get in front of the camera, they just forget about what they do for a living. I don't know.
Did you have a problem bridging the gap? You talked about this period of time where you were doing, back in the Wild West of the internet, which I was a part of that era a bit too, which was different. There was no videos then. So I was really resistant to doing this. I mean, really resistant. And so I'm one of those guys where you pull out the camera and I turn into a zucchini, it was hard for me to even get on camera and share my name and be out there. So,
and what about now? Are you on camera now?
Yeah, more. I've been on this journey for like a year. I've been practicing to get better and better at it. Brought some people in on my team that can help me to kind of break down some of those barriers, but it wasn't and still isn't natural. But I'm working on it. That's one of my top goals, is to be able to communicate to a camera with the same ease and comfort that I do with my wife.
Yeah, and it takes time. And that's one of the reasons why I say that video production, it's not only about the cameras and equipment, but it's about the professional services, and having somebody like a director or producer help to coach somebody. And that doesn't start when the cameras show up. That actually starts before the cameras show up. And anybody listening to your journey, I went through the same journey. Get started today, because you get started and you will get better. And if you have professional help, you're going to get better quicker. We work with one law firm, and their lawyer was able to do 2 videos in an hour and a half. When we first started working with him, he can do 5 videos in an hour now after a year. Wow. So that's a great time savings for him, and a great value for the law firm that he's able to do that. So it just takes time. It's like anything else.
Time takes practice. Yeah, I can relate to that. I remember hearing that I should do 3 TikToks a day sounded so overwhelming, but now it's just no big deal. I'll get 3 TikToks done in a day. But yes, I digress. Let's get into some leadership topics a little bit. So, right team, right business, tactics of building the right team, which I've learned is extremely important, especially as you want to go to scale your company, you want to go after investment. People want to see that you can grow a team and be a leader and not just a solopreneur. So, could you talk to us a little bit about this, Justin?
Yeah, sure. I can tell you all the times I have misstepped and made poor decisions, and that's usually been my teacher. That degree was expensive and hard to come by. Um, but yeah, growing the right team is critical. And one of the biggest lessons that I've gained over the last 20 years of running businesses is you can teach people skills a lot better than you can try to teach personality traits and characteristics. So there's a few hacks that I work with my clients that we coach here to try to help them develop and build out their teams that I wanted to share with everybody listening here today. If any of you are leaders that have gone through resumes or spent time, hours, I remember when I was hiring for a software development company that I was a part of, each position that I was bringing into the team usually took about 60 to 80 hours of my time to get that person hired. And only one in maybe four stuck around more than, like, worked out for more than 3 to 6 months. So I'm putting all this time into trying to find and recruit and retain the right talent, only to have a 25% chance of that person even working out long-term for our company. So after doing that again and again and again and again, I realized those odds sucked. It was not a good ROI for the time. So I tried to figure out ways that I could first of all, my time. Through my first round at business and getting through some of the challenges and legal issues and battles that I had to go through, I was convinced and resolute that I wasn't going to trade my time for money anymore. I wanted to build systems that brought returns in and that I didn't have to work 18 hours a day to get those kind of returns. So as I'm hiring these people, I'm realizing this is a very arduous task, very low success rate task. And the biggest thing wasn't the skills, because even the most decorated, even the best resume, even the most experienced, when they came into our organization, they still required 3 months to get up to speed before we figured out if they were going to really be a good fit or not. So the bigger issue that I feel is more important for alignment on is personality and characteristics. Can they get along with you? Can they get along with the rest of the team? And how do you hire for that? So a couple of the tricks, again, that we teach some of our clients here is volume. So who has looked at a stack of resumes and kind of fantasized? Like, I know all of you entrepreneurs out there, every one of you know how to solve problems. You see a problem, you get a roll of duct tape, a paper clip, a toothpick, you can solve the problem. And that can be to our detriment sometimes. Because of our problem-solving nature, we look at a resume and think, oh boy, this is like, we start fantasizing about how many problems this person is going to solve. And we go through all these resumes, we spend all this time only to pick our top 2 or 3 that often may not even answer the phone when we call, that don't respond to an email because they've already moved on. So we get as many applications now as we can possibly get using software and different SaaS providers that we work with, bring them into a system, have automation, just send out quick scheduling links. We get them competing against the time blocks that are available. And my personal technique is I like to do 4 hours, 2 times a week, 4-hour blocks, 4 or 5-hour blocks, depending on the position and what kind of response rate for the ad, the job ad. So 4 or 5-hour blocks twice in a week, and the automated links just go out as soon as somebody submits a resume, or on Indeed, they click apply to the job, they get a link to schedule the interview. Then I back up 15-minute slots back to back to back for these 4 or 5-hour windows. So I fill them up every single time. So in 2 days of the week, I'm doing 5 hours per day of interviewing. When you get that many reps in that quickly, just like Robert was saying with video, like, you need the reps to get familiar with it. When you're interviewing that many people in that short of a period of time, you start to get really good at explaining what the position is that you are trying to fill. You start to get very good at picking up on the nuances. You start to be very impatient, maybe, with people that don't show up on time or that can't make a video link work, and you just skip by them without a lot of judgment or reading into it. It's just, this didn't work, I'm moving on to the next one. I only have 15 minutes to get the entire interview done. And from that, you start to really, it's almost like that entrepreneur spider sense begins to kick in a little bit, and you can start reading between the lines and getting a feel for the nuances and the characteristic and the personality traits to see if there's some good fits. So I can take those blocks of time, winnow the field down to 3 to 5 of my favorite candidates, and now dig into their qualifications and now dig in. Because if they're not a fit, it doesn't matter if they have a PhD and 10 years of experience in the field that I need to hire for. If they're not going to get along and I spend all that time going through that process and bring them in, am I going to lose one of my best people because the incongruity of the team? Are they going to feel like an outsider when they get here and only last 90 days and now I'm back doing the same thing again? So those are some of the missteps that often take place early on.
So I'm curious, Robert, how many people work for your company?
I have 5 people.
5 people. Okay. So how do you find this like tug and pull after so many years? Has it been like the same 5 people for a long time, or like?
Yeah, I mean, I've had one guy's for 15 years, so I think I've been really,
Wow.
really good at this. And also, like, my business is a little different because I can hire somebody for a day, bring them in, or give them an edit, and see how they perform, and then hire them. So I've been blessed with that, and like I've eliminated people because they said, "Oh yeah, I'll give this to you on Tuesday," and now it's Wednesday and I haven't heard from them. I still get the project done, but they'll never work for me again, you know, because they set that timeline. Or they'll come in on a shoot and they don't kind of gel with my existing team, right? Again, that is kind of like self-elimination. So I have a really good core team. And then because sometimes with production, we need like a much bigger crew. I call, you know, my second satellites of people that I've been working with. They're either freelancers or maybe they have their own company. But I've been working with them for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Like my makeup girl, I don't have makeup on every single production, but when I do, it's a phone call. It's easy. Like she doesn't even bill me anymore. I've known her for 10 years already, you know?
Yeah.
So I've got those relationships that know our crew, they know our style. So I've been lucky in that respect.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, different perspective. I'm curious from anyone in the comments who's trying to scale a business, anyone like going through any of these growing pains with growing your team. But just any reaction to that, Justin, or anything else you'd add on this entire topic before we close it out?
No, just there's opportunity, and Robert's touching on it. You know, there's people that sometimes we have a narrow view of what we need to hire for. And if we expand that view and open our mind to what's possible, give you an example. There are in our community here, where I used to live up in northern Utah and down here in southern Utah, there's a lot of moms that are young, that are college graduates, they're just young, starting a family, that are looking for work, but can't make a full-time 40 hours a week coming to the office. You know, they have kids to get ready for school. They have kids to pick up at 2:30. And so we found that offering some flexibility around those times and having a 25, 28-hour work week, we tap into a whole new labor market of highly skilled, very passionate, very capable people that are out there available that just don't quite fit that normal old style. And then incentivizing people like that particular demographic in particular to hit certain benchmarks and goals. We may bring in a meal for one night a week, or even maid service to help clean the house, so that there's an additional perk for hitting certain benchmarks at work, that they can have some flexibility to still have that work-life balance and feel enriched, but also maybe somebody else does the laundry and cleans the house this week if they hit a certain level. So there's some creative ways that you can build your team and you can grow your team and keep your mind open to what those possibilities are, because people make all the difference.
Oh,
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
Agreed. Yep.
That's like great marketing right there. You targeted your audience. I mean, I'm a mom. I have 2 small kids, so you're singing to the choir. But I figured out that I could just go become an entrepreneur and do the 25 to 30 hours myself and build my own business, which is another option too. But then it's hard, and no one. Sometimes women don't want to boss that hard. So it's up to you. Anyway, I digress. We've got more we could talk about in terms of like hiring, why you should hire, and building a big team. But you can also think about doing that with Cherry Assistant, and we'll be right back after these messages from Cherry Assistant.
This is Mike, also known as Clean with Mike on Twitter. Mike hired a virtual assistant from Cherry Assistant about 2 years ago. Now he has a $50K per month business fully managed by a remote operator in South Africa. His VA from South Africa does the following: closing inbound leads on the phone, Yelp and Google and Facebook, manages his CRM and Go High Level, deals with rescheduling, cancellations, any issues, hires and manages the cleaners, and sends them daily reports and updates. Mike has a fully cash flowing business managed by a remote operator for only $8 an hour. You can also hire a US equivalent worker in the Philippines, South Africa, Latin America for a fraction of the cost with Cherry Assistant. Be like Mike and grow your business with offshore staff.
And this is just a menu of services. So if you're on podcast and you're not seeing the screen, it's just like some of the things they do include lead generation, CRM management, prospecting assistance, sales presentation preparation, data entry and cleanup, customer support, project management assistance, and so much more. They help me with my show as well as my client's show. So of course we're going live on LinkedIn, and then we repurpose it into short form video and all that other stuff that I'm talking about all the time. But real quick, I also want to make sure that I'm mentioning High Level, because we've talked about High Level a little bit throughout the episode. But if you go to reveting.com/high level, you'll get a 30-day free trial on my affiliate link. But what I do with High Level is I white label it. So what that means is it's High Level's technology, but the skin on it is my branding. So it's app.reveting.com. And if you're in my coaching program, you get access to it. So you'll get your full CRM account. You can log in to app.reveting.com, and you have your CRM opportunities, your contacts, but also, there's email automation, marketing email. You can schedule your social posts out of there. We're building landing pages. So in the coaching program, one of the projects we just did is building a masterclass landing page. And what you have with that is a full funnel of emails and text messages to follow up with people to make sure they show up to your masterclass. And now AI is part of the mix, and High Level has completely adopted AI. They're updating it. I just saw a video yesterday of all the things they've added to it. You can have a chat bot for your business. And like I said earlier, we're migrating people off of some of the large, big SaaS players that you're hearing all the time to app.reveting.com. And when you pay our agency, and you not only get the CRM and marketing automation technology, but you get the skill set of people behind it to build it for you. So be sure to ask if you're interested in our unlimited landing page promotion that we're offering right now for some of our clients. But yes, just go to reveting.com/high level, and I digress. Let's get into our third topic. So video, strategy, production, and marketing. So we do video. The way we start it is, of course, the LinkedIn Live. And this is where we have our production. And then we take it, and from this, we'll cut it into short form video. We'll take out the audio, and it'll become podcast. We'll also pull out the transcription and feed it to AI to create a recap for a newsletter. So there's just like so much you can do from this one video. But Robert, we have so much to learn from you from your 1,600 videos. Could you talk to us about what all you put into your strategy, as well as production, which when you're doing things in person and not just on LinkedIn Live, it's a full different game, which we haven't ever gotten into any of that, thank goodness. I like to keep things online. For me, it's easier. But then also marketing. So once you get all of that, how do you integrate it into the whole marketing plan?
Yeah. Well, let me answer that by asking you a question. right?
Yes. Okay.
Approximately how long or how many iterations did it take you to kind of get good at doing everything that you said? Once you do the LinkedIn Live, then you take the video and you multi-purpose it through all those different, deliverables and channels.
It usually takes about a week. So
No,
every
no,
week.
no. I'm saying how long did it take you to get that process down?
Oh, how long did it take us to get it
Hmm.
down? Well, it really depends on how you would define that, but probably about 6 months.
Okay, so it took a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's normal, right?
Yeah.
So with video, it's not just about the producing of the video, but you need to do something with
Oh,
it.
yeah.
So we call this a video first marketing strategy. Basically, what you're doing is leading with the LinkedIn Live video
Mhm.
and then deriving all that ancillary content that you need for your other channels and to promote your business and to promote the video itself, right?
Yeah.
That's a video first marketing strategy. And it's not only video, but it's also text, right? Because Google
Yes,
right now doesn't read video, it reads text.
that's true.
So from a search standpoint, you want to make sure that you leverage that video and get it transcribed and do all those different things from blog posts and emails and press releases and social posts, all that other great stuff. So from a strategic standpoint, right, it's not just about what I said before is like, what is your strategy? Where do you get started? And then the production of your video. But then the third piece is that marketing. And whether you're a small company or a big company, that third piece is going to take some time because you don't have any workflows set up right now. And if you're a small company, it might be a little easier to create those workflows because there's less people, but the opposite side is it'll take more time because you have less people. If you're a larger company and you have a web team and an email team and a social team and a communications team and a marketing team, they all need to take that MPEG file or .mov file and use that differently for their specific job, but still aligning with the business case and the brand and the messaging and all that stuff. So that takes, again, 3 to 6 months to create and have people stumble through that a little bit, right? Because
Mhm.
just like being on camera, you're not going to be good at the first time. So we say if you get started today with video, it'll probably take you a year and a half to 2 years to really get good at that entire process from strategy, production, distribution, marketing, and monitoring that to then decide, what should we do again and where should we make those investments to wash and repeat. So that is part of, I guess, kind of what I want to chat about. And the other thing is that a long-term strategy with video is made up of short-term projects. Again, going back to the first thing you do when you think about video is to forget about video. Is SEO important? Well, if it is, you need to create many smaller videos, not just one, but 10 every month, maybe, or every quarter to support content marketing. Boom, that's a project. Then maybe you have a recruiting um, need and you're going to create videos for recruiting. Boom, that's another project. And then you have a product launch, or maybe you're going into another industry. So you create videos for that. Boom, that's another project. So over time, you're creating these kind of the matrix of video projects, and those videos typically are evergreen and they're going to last a long time. And those short-term video projects in aggregate make up a long-term video strategy.
Brilliant. I mean, I've never really thought about it that way, but that is exactly sort of what we do, in terms of like creating a podcast or a show. It's just a whole bunch of hour-long videos that then put together an entire story or an entire show. But I could see how it's, of course, the same thing with marketing. And I don't know, I'm curious, Justin, what is your take on all this? So in terms of like what you're starting to do, you said you're starting to get more active with video.
Yeah.
Are you feeling any of the returns yet? Or how are you seeing how it's kind of piecing together? Or what's your take on it?
Yes, I think I like how Robert just explained that, because it's really, you got to put one brick on top of another and just keep doing this. And with the paradigm that I had from those Wild West days of the internet, when there was no canned spam and it was just spam,
Right.
you got immediate returns. You know, you could send out 1 million emails, you'd immediately get a return with affiliate offers or different things that you may be promoting and marketing. And with video, I never could see that. So I always resisted that because I wanted those immediate returns. But all I really did is delayed, like Robert said, it might take 1.5 to 2 years. So 2 years ago was the best time for me to start doing video, but today's the second best time. So I would echo those sentiments for sure. Am I starting to see returns? Maybe some. Yeah, there are some. And more than returns, I'm getting some validation in out there in the marketplace now, where we've been doing coaching and working with clients one-on-one for the last 10 years, but now we're having more people lean in because people can just look up and find us and see us talking, and have a training where I did another coaching call with somebody else and we captured part of that and released that video, and that resonates with another business owner. And they're like, hey, I could use help with that. So yes, I agree wholeheartedly. It was a long time coming and slow process to get on board with that. But I think, again, today is the second best day to get started with that, and just keep putting brick on top of brick and stacking those wins.
Stacking those wins. Yeah, I like the way you put that. And we'll just ask you to keep us going here, because we're going to transition now away from video and into a leader's time. And because, they kind of go hand in hand. As a leader, especially in B2B, as the thought leader, you're kind of expected to be building the brand right now through your personal brand, by building your real style videos and sitting in front of the camera. But our time is our greatest resource. So could you kick us off on a leader's time, protecting the greatest resource of all, Justin?
Yeah, that's when you're talking about Cherry Assistant. I mean, I could go for 1.5 hours on that by itself, because that is the thing that I like to focus on with our coaching immediately, is getting into virtual assistants and personal assistants, because that's typically where we can see a quick win for people. And so I love the idea of Cherry Assistant. I want to replug them just because I love the concept and the idea, and I could send dozens of people their way on a weekly basis. Being able to delegate and offload some of those administrative tasks are so critical. And usually not even just usually, we guarantee that the clients we work with will get them between 8 and 12 hours back in a week inside of 90 days. If they will follow through on some of the things that we do, which is working with virtual assistants and delegating emails, delegating calendar and scheduling, delegating CRM tasks, some of those things that seem daunting, because so many entrepreneurs think, well, the way I do it is kind of nuanced. It's kind of difficult. It's different. Well, I would say call Robert and turn on a video, and maybe not even need Robert for these kinds of videos, but creating a playbook to document the process, upload with all the AI tools and a little bit of instruction. You can really duplicate anything that you duplicate over and over again. You can reduce to a written playbook. That playbook can then be delegated to an assistant under the right premise, with companies like Cherry Assistant that can help with sourcing and landing you with the right match. Now you give them a playbook for these processes that you do over and over again, and you get yourself an hour back this week because you don't have to do X, Y, or Z. So I think that's the first half of the equation. And there's always a balance that I like to strike here, because we've helped people get back time, entrepreneurs and founders that have been just 60, 80, 90 hour work weeks. We've showed them how to duplicate, delegate, and get some of this time back. But then you need to redeploy the time that you gain back into the revenue producing activities, back into video creation, back into growing your brand, back into the things that only that founder can do. And one of the big mistakes that we see people make, particularly this entrepreneurial type, right? Like I said, that entrepreneur spirit tends to see solutions where there's a whole bunch of problems. So the problem that they run into in this delegation process is thinking that, man, if there was just this one person, they're looking for a COO often. They may only be doing $500,000 of revenue, but they think if I had an operations officer that could just come in here and do everything. So they start to fantasize about the wrong hire. And really, I think Cherry Assistant is the hire that they need to start so that they can gain the skills of delegating and team building, like we spoke about a few minutes ago, because that's a whole new skill set that the smaller companies probably don't have yet. They may have an idea to sell a widget or to code websites or to design something, but growing a team and dealing with the HR side of it and that part is a whole new set of challenges to solve. So rather than trying to find that unicorn out there in the wild that can do everything as good as they can, because they don't exist, you find Cherry Assistant or somebody like that that can help you get 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours of your time as a founder back onto your calendar. Now, what could you do with 8 or 12 hours a week that you didn't have last week? And I would say putting some video content together, growing your brand.
Yeah.
Those are the things that can bring the highest ROI back to your organization. But you spending 3 hours a day replying to emails, really? That's not bringing your revenue back. Even if those are invoice emails or things like that, that can be outsourced with a simple, repeatable playbook that this is how I do mine. I grab my phone, I turn it on, I put on a little tripod that I get at Walmart for $6. I push record, I upload that to AI, I get a transcript and I iterate that a few times. I give that to my VA and say, here's what I need done. Every time this happens, follow this playbook. And then you're out of the weeds.
100%.
Yep.
Exactly. And I would love to hear from people in the comments of your thoughts on taking back your time. And with all of this, what would you add, Robert? Because, I know you're in the position of trying to take some more of that founder time up, or just like the brand's time in general with making more video content because they need it. Especially with AI videos, the only real human touch that a lot of the time you get. So it's crucial. How do you convince them to use their time to do it?
No, I'm just gonna piggyback off of what was just said, because I'm thinking like, wow, that's really daunting to do that and having to take your time as an entrepreneur. But again, it's just a learned skill set. Like once you do that for a VA once, you can do it again, and then you're just building that skill set for the rest of your team. So I kind of resonated with what you were saying, and kind of also kind of that getting used to being in front of the camera with video. It's kind of the same process. But with video, right? How do you be efficient with that and make most use of your time? And I'll put in, I'll ask a question about baking cookies, right? So you want to bake cookies and you get out all the ingredients, you start mixing, you spark the oven, you have to clean up. Would you ever bake one cookie? The answer is no.
Never.
Right? You would make a batch of cookies. So batch production is a methodology that you can use to do multiple videos at one time, and therefore be efficient with your time when you get on camera. We've worked with lawyers and accountants and actually other professionals and software companies, where they've done 5, 6, 7, 8 videos at a time. We're planned and we're prepared and we know what the messaging is. We know what the business objectives are. That's all done, but they're on camera and maybe they'll change their shirt or change their jacket and will slightly turn the cameras like 15 or 20 degrees. So it kind of quote unquote looks different. So their marketing teams have an efficient production, and they get a lot of content out of that per the business objectives that they're aiming for. So, I mean, that's just a great way to kind of use your time and budget in front of the camera as well.
Yeah, I love that. That's something we call it stacking, and we coach our clients to do the same thing, whether it's creating content or sending invoices, or do the tasks, like butt them up against each other. Do you do invoicing and payroll? Do it on the same day, do it at the same time. You're in the same systems. You're working, you're logged into the same platforms. You don't need to bounce around. That alone can get you some gains back on your calendar because of the transitional shifting. And for me, it's the worst in going in front of the camera, just because I have that. I'm not quite there yet. I haven't quite warmed up to it entirely. So
after today, you're over that.
So there's more time that I just kind of think I need to prepare. I got to get ready. I have to go through some process, but there's that changing task quotient is involved in anything that we do. And so back to the productivity element of the conversation, if you can stack those tasks that are relevant and just, look at a calendar and be strategic about it. Say, okay, I got to get payroll every other Friday. So I'm going to make sure that we do billing every other Friday too, or collections every other Friday. And you just start stacking these things and then opening up chunks of your calendar over here where usually you'd be, well, I got to send an invoice on Monday, and I'm going to call them on Wednesday, and I'm going to do a bid on Thursday. And, that it's disjointed. It's not, there's no rhythm to it. So we call that either stacking or cadence and rhythms to get that higher ROI, which again, back to when we do interviewing and hiring people, do 8 interviews back to back to back, and you'll feel so much better, like you're a great interviewer, than if you do one on Monday, one on Thursday, one the following Tuesday. That you just get no benefit, no bang for the buck on reps that way.
Yeah, that's true. It's like fitness.
Yeah.
Such a great way to sum up that topic. Thank you so much for sharing on all of those topics, really. And we only have 6 minutes left. It always goes so much faster than you think. It just sneaks up on us. But I want to make sure we get to the guru of the week, because we just spent the last hour being inspired by you. So now we want to know who inspires you. Who can we go follow on LinkedIn? And I don't know, just get inspired by someone else with someone's different content. So I'm going to pull myself up and pull your gurus of the week up here.
All right. Do you want us to just go plug? I guess. So Kate, I'll start, I guess. Kate is somebody that has been helping me, Robert, to actually get into the video thing. And she is a content coach. And she's been fantastic to just help me get more comfortable in front of the camera, to get the paradigm shift made that being on camera, putting it out there, reps matter, volume counts. Start with quantity over quality and then shift the needle into quality, just so you can feel more comfortable. So I would highly suggest anybody who thinks or is wondering or curious about whether or not they should get on camera, or they want to, but they're not sure how. She's been instrumental in helping me to just unlock some paradigms that I've been carrying around since the late 90s that are way out of date. So.
Okay, I'll jump into mine. So Monik is he's like president or CEO, or one of the founders of an organization called Search Atlas. And they're an AI SEO tool. And they also have just a whole bunch of other reporting and analytics and content creation opportunities. And I met him about 1.5, 2 years ago, and I've been following him ever since. I use their software, and he does a lot of training videos and promotional videos, and just talking to his community about the changes of what's happening with Google, why they're investing in areas of their software, how their software works. And this guy knows so much, and he's a natural just about talking about SEO, not just the strategy side and the implementation side, but also the technical side. And his software is super impressive. It's called Search Atlas. And yeah, I mean, again, he's super impressive, and they've made some amazing leaps and strides over the last 6 months or so that have helped my business. And again, I continue to follow them and continue to watch his videos. And he's also a great leader. We're talking about leaders because his team has grown tremendously from the sales support, um, the coders that they need, and the types of coders that they need as well. So that's a big skill set to put under kind of one person. And based upon the success of their company and the growth of their platform, obviously he's part of a team, but he's one of the leaders there, and he's a very impressive person.
All right.
That's incredible. Thank you both for feeding off each other. That was one of the parts, I guess, pre-show that maybe we didn't go over as well this time. But yeah, Guru of the Week is where you two feed off each other. So you did a great job. But before we wrap up, we want to make sure that the listeners know how they could reach you if they want to do business with you and work with you. So could you tell everyone a little bit about like what you do, who you serve, and if they feel like they could be served by you, how could they reach out to you to do business with you? We'll start with you, Justin.
Yeah, that'd be great. You can find me on Instagram, on LinkedIn, or our website is propelyour.com. Any of those mediums or methods are fine for reaching us. And we right now focus on helping entrepreneurs and small businesses to kind of break through revenue ceilings. So if you feel like you've kind of hit up against a level, if you're anywhere from 100,000 to 3 million plus in revenue, and you're just kind of feeling like you're stuck or stagnant, chances are you need more of your time back. You need to just get clear on what is your North Star and put some playbooks and reference resources in place that can help you to scale. We talk about virtual assistants and personal assistants, and sometimes the daunting part is how do we begin that process? And when we work with people, we give them a playbook that is just our first virtual assistant playbook. I think it's 20 pages. And with that, you tweak it and hand it to your VA. And that's kind of the operating manual, the OS for working with you. And that takes such a load off. So be happy to help anybody that is feeling they need it.
Well, yeah, and I should definitely connect you with DJ Kim. He's the founder of Cherry Assistant.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed working with them. I'm sure you guys could have a great partnership as
Yeah,
well.
that'd be great.
Yeah. And same for you, Robert. Would love to, know more about your business and what you do, who you serve, and if they could be served by you, how do they reach you?
Well, MultiVision Digital. .com, and we're all about video, and video. If you are a manufacturing company, you make something, you can go to videoformanufacturing.com. That is our specific targeted site for manufacturing companies of all sorts, from plastic manufacturing to chemical manufacturing to metal fabrication. I mean, anything medical devices, pharmaceuticals, anything manufacturing related. That sales process is very different than law firms and software companies, which is MultiVision Digital. And then if you're an advertising agency or a brand that wants more kind of high-end production stuff, you can go to MultiVision Creative, which is a little bit like movies and music videos, advertising videos. So there's those three brands. Again, it's MultiVision Digital, Video for Manufacturing, or MultiVision Creative, and of course our social platforms are MultiVision Digital.
Amazing. Well, thank you both so much for
Thank
sharing,
you.
for coming on the show. Yeah, I appreciate it. And until next week we've got 2 more really awesome guests. I'll just pull them up here really quick so everyone knows. Stephanie Kaufman and Matthew Bowden. I'm probably saying that wrong. Bowden. So just you'll find it pinned at the top of the page after we replay this episode a few more times. But you'll also always be able to find this episode on Revening's page and on podcast later on. But until next time, Justin and Robert, thank you again so much. I'm going to go ahead and close this out with an outro video.
Thanks. All right. Thank you, everybody.